Hi. So this is a demo of the new Kerno dashboard that will give you an overview over basically your team usage of Kerno, Codebase coverage, and Codebase health. So let me walk you through this very quickly. And so starting with the analytics dashboard. So here you get, whenever you land into the dashboard, this is your home page. So this gives you a high level overview of everything that Kerno knows about your Codebase and team usage. So here you can see the Codebase health, which is the health score that we compute based on 5 factors that we analyze from your Codebase. Test coverage basically indicates the number of endpoints that have Kerno coverage. The median time to fix, which is the time from when Kerno detects an issue to when your team or your agents fix it. And then you have the obvious, which are the issues caught by Kerno and the test runs within a given period. You can obviously filter all of these by author, by repository, and by time, and you can export these if you need these insights in a different format. So let's start with the Codebase health. So this is as I said, a score that Kerno computes based on 5 factors. So here you can see the trend. And so if we look at our repos with the lowest score, so we go maybe here to the legacy API, we click on it. This takes us to our Codebase health section, which is shows us the score, the trend over time, and basically the 5 factors that we use to compute the score. So the factors are dependency risk, so which dependencies, internal and external, within your Codebase that are have the highest degree of centrality. Basically, they are the most used by other pieces of code and might be very risky to change. Also, this breaks down to another level of endpoints. So which endpoints specifically are highly trafficked, highly used, and maybe can break things if changed carelessly or don't have good test coverage. Then we have sensitive data scans, which Kerno does by looking at the responses when Kerno runs validation, looks if any endpoints are leaking sensitive data. Incident coverage are basically when Kerno picks up the latest incidents from your incident response tool and builds coverage tests to make sure those issues don't regress in the future. And finally, we have API consistency, which is a Kerno looking at your APIs and if there's any inconsistencies and flags them for you here. And so if you go into, let's say, one of the dependencies here, if you go into the slip dependency, you can see we have a big delta. So a lot more code is now calling and relying on this dependency. So if we open it here, you can see a small graph that shows you all the different basically part of your Codebase calling this specific dependency and trends over time. And you can do the same with third-party dependencies because Kerno detects these external dependencies and does the same analysis, looking at how central they are to your Codebase and the concentration of risk in these dependencies. And so you have the same thing with others at the endpoint level, and so on. Now the next tab, we have the tests. So these are all the Kerno tests that have been run by your team. So you can see the test coverage, total test runs, the diffs. You can go deeper here to inspect every test run to see exactly which scenarios have been run for each endpoint and repo and the diffs that were detected. And then you can just, again, filter by user, by a repository. Then we go into the custom context. So this section is more about helping Kerno better understand the specifics of your Codebase. So you can add rules that can be applied on different scopes. So on the full repository, on specific files, and specific endpoints. So this will help Kerno really get custom context and understand how to best validate your application and business logic. And if you're in a microservice environment, you can create a repo cluster here, and Kerno will use these repos as a single context when validating specific service. And finally, we have integrations. And so, as I said, Kerno can integrate with your ticketing system, so Linear and Jira, to get more context, so including PRDs and understand better your application, but also could integrate with your incident response and error tracking tools to, as I said, gather context about recent incidents and issues and make sure that those are covered during testing time time and validation time. And there you have it. The rest is you're familiar with, but this is the main new things that we introduced in our dashboards to give you as an engineering leader a global overview of your code base, health, and team usage, and desk coverage.